What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Review for Made in Abyss Season 2. This is episode 10, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Yeah, this is like one of the most bloody, action-packed episodes that they've released this season so far.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I expected.
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much expected this with Fapata pretty much being blinded by rage throughout the entirety of this episode. But some of the more notable scenes is Nanichi wakes up. What was it? Having been given like Belof's memories of Fapata, and he pretty much releases Nanichi from his custody, but he also tells her that the barrier, I think the village barrier has been breached, which is allowing the curse to enter the village. And once Nanichi walks out of the barrier, Midi will end up disappearing along with several other several other hollows that end up following her.
Mm-hmm. And of course, like some of the hollows end up giving her this like armor. It's, of course, it's just really sad because she has to say goodbye to Midi again. It wasn't enough that Reg had to kill her, put her out of her misery the first time. This time, she has to watch her disappear again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was. This is also just a really emotional episode too, not just because of what happens there, but also just the flashback sequences that we get while Reg and Fapata are fighting. They kind of show their past.
Yeah, it's just what Fapata has been is doing to the villagers has been incredibly brutal. I mean, she just goes out and just slaughters them one by one, and then a couple other hollows just try to stop her at several points, but she kills them in such a gruesome manner that she literally just goes inside him and then kills him from the inside.
Yeah, I did watch a video on this. So like there apparently were some cuts here and there, and some cuts had to do with, I guess, some of the villagers speaking in their own language as to what is going on, or like how they're basically like how they're suffering because of what Fabulous is doing to them.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know. It wasn't a big deal that they cut some of that. It kind of makes, it's probably just cut for time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, basically some of the, if you thought the stuff in the anime was brutal, they kind of go a little bit further in the manga, but I was pretty impressed as to how much of the brutality is kept within the anime adaptation of it. I think pretty much with Made in Abyss as a whole, I think they've done a really good job at actually like adapting the manga.
Yeah, well, for whatever they're showcasing in these episodes. I mean, we do know that the finale episode is going to be a double length episode. So you did mention like a couple of weeks ago, you told me that the finale is pretty lengthy. Yeah,
like this is basically like what starts in this episode, I would say, is pretty much the climax of this arc. So yeah, the next few episodes is basically just going to be the rest of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but pretty much the remainder of this episode is Reg recovers from his coma and pretty much wakes up to confront Fapata to pretty much go out and stop her rampage. Initially, he has trouble, but he has help thanks to the white whistle, and he's able to, I guess, enhance his ability to go toe-to-toe against Fapata on even grounds.
Yeah. I mean, well, at first, at least, like when he confronts her, I mean, it's pretty one-sided. Like he's just getting his ass kicked by her until he gets pretty much what's a buff from the white whistle and is actually able to fight her, pretty much fight her fairly.
Yeah, and of course the fight kind of takes us into flashbacks of when back before Reg met Rico up in the surface. We see a scene, several scenes in which Reg and Fapata were both friends, and then it got to the point where Fapata eventually developed feelings for Reg, and they wanted to be together forever. But it's but of course, Reg, of course, eventually makes a promise to Fapata that he'll come back once he reaches the surface to see what's up there. But of course, Fapata, during that time while he's away, pretty much in our isolation, just I guess in a way kind of goes a bit crazy, or just gets a little bit paranoid of his absence throughout that entire time.
Yeah,
so
I mean, we're not
yeah.
exactly sure like how long he left her, but I assume that over time she started to like resent him because of it, because he, I guess for a while he's hasn't come back. But I also like how these flashbacks kind of show the duality of Faputa. Like she can just be really just really innocent and what in these flashbacks, and then at the same time it shows her just slaughtering everybody, or just she has this bloodlust and rage where she's just killing all the villagers and fighting Reg, which I mean kind of makes sense because of she wants revenge for what was done to her mother and to the rest of her siblings, basically.
Yeah. Eventually, like it gets to the point where Reg does, I guess, sort of have the upper hand against her, and of course, like pretty much, I guess, reminding her of the time that they spent together, which he thought at the time when he was able to take control of Fapata, but unfortunately, Fapata takes the opportunity to attack Reg again, which is pretty much the end of the episode right there, which is kind of unfortunate, but we'll have to wait until next week to see how the episode unfolds.
And I mean, while this is happening too, like he basically drives her out of the village. And while this is happening, the village is falling apart.
Yeah.
And there's this, I think it's called the Iron Rain coming down on the village. Wazukian tries to, he basically tries to use some kind of barrier to protect the village from this, from the Iron Rain that's falling down. But yeah, I think we're, I mean, not only is the curse going to continue to, I guess, encroach upon the village, but also the other creatures in the abyss that have been able to, haven't been able to get into the village for however long it's been around, are going to be able to get in. And it's not just Vaputa, I think the villagers are going to have to worry about now, but also the other creatures that are going to get into the village and potentially start just, slaughtering them as well. So, I mean, it's not looking good. And of course, I think in the next episode, we'll probably get to see more of what's going on with Rico as well, because a lot of this episode was focused on just Reg and Faputa.
Yeah, and then there's also the potential, I guess, like the potential reunion with Nanachi coming back. I mean, even after all the trouble that Reg and Rico have been going through to try to free Nanachi from Beloff. I mean, she ends up being free anyway, but actually, technically, it's it still has more to do with what Regan and Rico have done in terms of allowing Fabata into getting into the village and slaughtering everyone.
Yeah, of course, that's what ends up kind of in a way, of course, like freeing Nanachi, because Beloff cannot can't really keep her safe while this is happening. So yeah, this was a really good episode. I would actually say it's probably one of the best episodes of Made in Abyss that I've seen so far. Just because the animation for the fight scenes is pretty impressive as usual, of course, but just how emotional of an episode it was too. It hit pretty hard, and it's only going to continue to be that way, as considering what I've read from this at this point in the manga. So I'm definitely interested to see how they handle those scenes in the remaining episodes. But yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about the episode. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
It was a great episode. Just how very well animated these scenes were, and how much they showcase the brutality of Fapata, and how I guess blinded by blood rage, whatever she's went through like during Reg's absence. So it's good that
Yeah.
they're finally uh, putting in some more development between the two characters.
Yeah. But yeah, guys. So that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.